You spoke to me about this before, and you were saying that you didn't believe that Conor Benn was trying to cheat.
Yes.
Would you just like to touch the Fight Is Right, myself and Tun, on this one, please, sir?
Okay, when I look at a fighter, I look at the spirit in the man. Okay, Conor would have had no idea, in my view, of what they would suggest he should have. I've seen them do it. I've watched them. These are men who are going to be rooted out of this game because they're not fighters. They're PE teachers. I respect them, but not when they're harming fighters, because in my view, when I look at Conor Benn, that's a pure young man. And I said to him before, I said, don't do this. You've got a glittering career in front of you. You can beat the Americans. Why don't we partner up? Our team against the American team. I spoke to him like a dad should speak to a son. They're not like me. I told Nigel, don't come to these speaking engagements. There's going to be too much pressure on you. Because you let them lead your son into a pit, a snare. That boy's clean. He's a clean man and a great fighter. But you have toddlers looking after us fighters, toddlers. These guys they call managers and promoters. These guys, I'm coming for you. Yeah, you try to murder my boys. I'm coming for you. Yeah. Right, sorry.
What's good, family? It's your man, the YB, back once again. Big shout out to my doggy, Anthony, not lost you 100%. Listen, end of the day, this Anthony right here, he stay winning, because the coins remain boosted, double boost, 100%. Now, third shout out to Don Spenny, of course, and Don Tunde Ajayi for coming through with the exclusive super duper leak right now. Go and check their podcast out, Stamina for Sale. That's where this leak came. Well, end of the day, man, the leak came 100%. Yeah? Stamina for Sale. That's what you best be doing right now. To be quite frank, one of the best podcasts I've listened to in a minute. Yeah, the whole show was A1. Anyway, let's get to it then. We just heard there from English. Airing out. No, I ain't gonna lie, he was polite to some extent. He said he doesn't believe Conor Benn is juiced off his bonds. He said that essentially Nigel Benn and Conor Benn were haters. Now, for you man who don't know where that came from, a few years ago, Conor and Nigel was confronted by Chris Eubank Sr. And Sr. was basically telling Nigel, you need to be more involved, more hands-on with your son's boxing career. Now, Conor Benn at the time took it all personal. He started barking off, you know what he's like. Yeah? Conor Benn started roid raging. Woofing. And he took it personal. And I do have to say, it's almost like the Benn family, and it makes sense, they're the ones who have lost. Yeah? The Benn family, it's easier, yeah, for Senior to be more holistic. It's easier for Senior to be more, do you know what I'm saying? Reaching out, because guess what? He has a KO win over Benn. Yeah, Benn never got his get back. So I understand why the Benn family are more touchy. It's easy to be all holy when you're the winner. Do you understand? It's a lot harder to be amicable with someone who's pushed your shit back 100%. Listen, if someone comes in, yeah, and push your dinner back in, you ain't going to be trying to be friends. And that's the Benn family. Because Chris Eubank Sr., for all intents and purposes, pushed in the Benn family's dinner. Simple as that. So what happened was, Senior, quite rightfully so, you heard him there. Senior approached Benn to say, listen, Nigel, I think you should be more involved in your son's career. Now, the Benn family was bent out of shape by that. Don't tell me how to run our lives. Who are you to comment on our situation? Now, the reason Senior feels the way he does, I mean, you heard him tell you why. He believes there's a lot of PE teachers and a lot of bums in boxing. He thinks the promoters, the managers, aren't worth their salt. I can't lie to you, man. Especially recently. You've seen my videos. Look at Joe Joyce. Look at Joe Joyce's career. Joe Joyce, arguably, in my opinion, not in my opinion, the facts actually show Joe Joyce has the best resume in the history of boxing. There's never been a pre-world title challenger with a better resume than Joe Joyce. Never. Oops. Who did Dillian White beat to get his shot? Who did Anthony Joshua beat to get his shot? Who did Tyson Fury beat to get his shot? Exactly nobody's. No one in the history of boxing has ever knocked out a Daniel Dubois and knocked out a Joseph Parker. And still, it's still unknown if he's even going to get a shot. And here we are, after doing all of that. And guess what? Joe Joyce, his management team, his promotional team, nowhere to be found. So I have to agree with Eubank. Now, obviously, this is deep for Conor Benn. Conor Benn, at this point in time, Conor Benn would wish that promotional and managerial mismanagement was the bulk of his problems. He's got juicy problems. Yeah. He wishes he could change places with Joe Joyce and just be on the, you know what I mean, just be getting punked off by bad management. But it's all in the same thing. Yeah, you got PE teacher trainers. You've got dodgy Dr. Frankenstein looking ass nutritionists. You've got weird ass promoters like Frank Warren. Or to be quite frank, a lot of them. And that's what Chris Senior was saying. Chris Senior was saying to the Benn family, listen, Senior couldn't understand. Nigel, you've been in this business. Why aren't you? How can you? Let's not forget as well, people. Nigel Benn lives in Australia. So it's like even worse. It's not even the case, well, yeah, I'm letting Conor Benn do his own thing, but I'm only down the road. No, you're on the other side of the world. Your son's out here amongst the wolves, essentially. And we know the sport game or any game where a lot of money involved is like, do you know what I'm saying? Everyone trying to get their hand in. Everyone trying to be on the camera. Everyone wants to be part of the team. Yeah, everyone wants to be on the band. Everyone trying to get on a tour bus. There's a whole bunch of dons trying to get on a tour bus right now. Guess what? I tell you where they ain't trying to get on now. That was the case. Up until last week, everyone was trying to get on Conor Benn's tour bus. Now, guess what? Everyone's checking out. Yeah, I've got videos coming soon. The people who likely juiced up Conor Benn are deleting their... Honestly, they're running like rats off a sinking ship. Deleting their Instagram pages, deleting all traces of their existence. But before, these same individuals was all in the video posting on their website, I work with Conor Benn. I work with Tyson Fury. Oops. Yeah? And that tells you, really, I have to salute many people, myself included, have slagged off Eubank Senior. And I gotta say, he for me goes a bit too far the other way, but who really can blame him? Most of the time, most people think about Senior, yeah, he's too much. He's too much involved in his son's career, and he's just a bit too much. But the bottom line is, whether he's a bit too much or not, he's bang on point. And really, who can blame him? Because guess what? Maybe if Senior wasn't so bang on it, maybe if he wasn't too much, his son would be the one popped. His son would be the one involved with unscrupulous Dr. Frankenstein wannabe asses, putting shit in his drink, and he didn't even know it. Yeah? On some Rick Ross thing. And the day, man, this Dr. Shadid, Mr. Dr. Shadid, put some next thing all up in Conor Benn's drink, and he didn't even know it, 100%. Yeah? That's what he didn't know. And now look at him. All sorry looking. I didn't know, yeah? Bumbling. But these same individuals was all in, you know, where are they all? Where's all these cats at now? Where's all the cats that was out here grandstanding for Conor Benn? Where are they at now? Nowhere to be found. And that's what Senior was talking about. And instead of, it's difficult. Who can really blame Ben though? Like I said, imagine getting your dinner pushed in. Not Chris Senior pushes your dinner in for you, and then he trying to give you advice. What's worse than that? There's almost nothing worse, especially with family. Imagine that. Imagine the man who pushed your dinner back in for you. is then giving you advice on how to be a parent. Arguably, I'm not a parent, but from what I understand, there's nothing more kind of touchy than another man. Never mind a man who pushes your dinner back in for you. But in general, anyone trying to give you parental advice, that makes anyone uptight. Never mind the man who smoked you. Do you know what I'm saying? Wait a minute. This Don smoked my boots, and now he's telling me how to raise my family. Wow, that's peak. So I'm not sitting here and judging Nigel Benn, but that's why in a way you need people. If you're gonna take the route, that Nigel Benn's taken, i.e. the relative hands-off route, you've got to have someone in there that you know is 100, you know is a trilly. And unfortunately, Nigel Benn, arguably, well, clearly, end of the day, man, look at the results. Clearly, he didn't have the right people around Conor. He didn't have them day one cats who was holding him down. Yeah? Because if I was there, I'd have been saying, listen, who's this funny style doctor? Do we really need this funny style cat? I'm always sceptical, of individuals like Mr. Shadid, like Mr. Ben Davidson. I'm always sceptical, of individuals who you see pictured with a whole bunch of famous boxers. Now, I understand YYB, they're in the industry. No, that's not the point. The point is, what does it say about a man, who want to be photoed with a whole bunch of famous dudes? Do you know what I mean? That's just, for me, that's odd. Fair enough, of course. On the odd occasion, I've seen Tyson Fury. Most people, if you're lucky, you'll see maybe one famous person in your life or whatever. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying I go anywhere, but I'm saying most people, you ain't going to be, you know what I mean? So, a question, has this guy, this big hardback man, how's he pictured you with 20 different boxers? That tells me he's got the fangirl in him. Yeah? He'd try and do anything to get on the team. You don't want individuals like that around you in your squad, in my opinion. That's how I work it. That's how I feel. You don't want the fangirls. Yeah, because the fangirls will tell you whatever you want to hear and do God knows what. Because they're just trying to get on any team. They've got no loyalty. Yeah, the dudes on Instagram who you see with Tyson Fury one day and this guy the next day, they ain't got no loyalty. They're trying to get on a team, whichever team it is. You want the individuals who are wholesome. Yeah, you want the individuals who don't lead with, oh, I worked with this guy. Let's not forget, people. Ben Davison, for example, his whole career is based on not what he knows, not what he's really done, but, oh, I worked with Tyson Fury. I got Tyson Fury knocked out 5 times in a row. Anyway, let's be real now. Ben Davison, he came up on the basis of managing Tyson Fury through the worst part of his career. Yeah? Under Ben Davison, Tyson Fury nearly got knocked out by Wilder. He nearly got knocked out by Otto Wallin. Yeah? That's the... Ben Davison, listen. Let's break down Ben Davison's resume here, yeah? Tyson Fury, smoked by Wilder. Tyson Fury, life and death with Wallin. Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor went from a true unified champion, a true undisputed champion, to being washed by some next British level fighter. Wow. That's what Ben Davison does, and I've been saying that. But anyway, the point was, people like Ben Davison, people like this next Dr. Majid, who Conor Benn's been working with, they trying to be all in the video. They ain't got no substance. All they've got is, oh, I've worked with this guy. Oh, look at me. Oh, no word of a lie. I guarantee you, the doctor who's juiced Conor Benn out of his mind would have pulled up to Conor Benn and said, oh, look at this picture. I worked with Tyson Fury. Yeah? And if I was in Conor Benn's camp, I'd have said, listen, maybe not. I wouldn't have said it there and then, but I'd have said, at the end of the day, I'd have said, listen, Conor, man, that guy, to me, seems a little piece too thirsty. Yeah, what are we doing here? Are we running a world championship camp, or are we running, what do they call it? Or are we running a rock star band? Do you understand? We need to remain on our purpose. We don't need no deadweight fangirls. Yeah, we need people who are going to bring quality. People who are going to fix problems, not just hangers on who want to be all in the video. People who want to take a picture with you know what I mean? People who want to take picture in the Wraith, no doubt. I guarantee you, if that Dr. Don had a chance to take a picture next to Conor Benn's car, he'd be with the car. You best believe it. Yeah? 100%. So yeah, it's difficult. Eubank Senior though, whatever we say about him, we have to salute him, because so far, everything he's said has more or less come true. Bottom line. Now, in all fairness to Team Benn though, what's to say, let's say Nigel Benn did take Senior's advice, let's say Nigel Benn was literally living with his son. Actually, no, I have to say Senior's probably right, because even if Nigel Benn, I was about to say, what's to stop? Even if Nigel Benn was with his son, even if Nigel Benn was managing and kind of semi-training his son, would that necessarily have stopped him popping? But I don't know. For example, Chris Senior's made it clear he wouldn't have allowed these weird Dr. Dons. Yeah? Guess what? You've never seen no Ben Davison knocking around Chris Senior or Chris Junior's camp. Certainly not when Senior was involved. He wasn't having that one. I remember, never mind some random doctor. Never mind a washed up random ass Ben Davison. I remember a ring card girl. A ring card girl was doing her job in the ring with Chris Eubank Jr. and Senior was there, and Senior nearly bit her head off. Yeah? Which showed you how on it he was. That shows you really, Eubank Senior don't want no fangirls, literally. Yeah? He don't want no dead weight. Pure purpose. If you're not bringing purpose, what are you doing? So yeah, I do have to salute Senior, and I'm sorry, but I believe if Conor Benn had someone who treated Junior, or who treated him, like Chris Senior treated Junior, we probably wouldn't be here. Because like I said, listen, there's no way Senior would have allowed this random ass doctor to be doing his son. And that's not my opinion, that's what the evidence shows. If I'm wrong, show me that 5-year period, yeah, where Senior was managing Junior. Show me where the randoms were. They had that old guy, I forgot his name now, the one who's trained Senior for 30 years. It was him, and that was about it. And family members. Oops. Yeah, there weren't no random ass dudes. Oh, I've been working with Tyson Fury, I've been working with this guy, I've been working with that guy. There was none of that in the Eubank camp. On the other hand, the same can't be said for Team Benn. And really it does it illustrates the two different styles. Nigel Benn was on the other side of the world. Now, in all fairness, I'm not saying he's abandoned his son. He comes over for the camp, but he's much more laissez-faire. He's much more loosey-goosey. Yeah? And loosey-goosey in this sport, like Eubank said, this sport's full of vultures. Yeah? And loosey-goosey approach, how's it working out for you? Is it possible the weird-ass groupie doctor who's been alleged to have caused these problems, is it possible it wasn't him? Listen, all I know is he's deleted all of his presence off the internet. He's even shut down his practice website. Wait a minute. Listen, let's say I'm a doctor, yeah? Let's say I'm involved with an athlete who pops, and I know I haven't done anything. Why am I going to shut down the internet, or why am I going to shut down the web page to my practice? Don't make no sense. I'm innocent. I got nothing to hide. Why would I stop my... You know what I mean? I'm not going to change my life for something I'm not involved with. This Don here is moving like certain man move. Expeditiously he moving to wipe his presence. Well, who does that? That to me is guilt.com. It makes... I mean... Maybe some of you, man, in the comment section can explain other theories. Why would he just disappear? Why would you do that for? Well, who does that? No, I can't see no other explanation why someone would act that way unless they're guilty.com. Oops. And you best believe we've got more videos coming on that particular topic. But this video, listen, I have to rate. All we can do at this point is rate what Senior's saying, and I would like to think at least, I guarantee Nigel Benn will be a lot more. Listen, assuming, is it possible? Is it possible Team Benn know what's happened here? Because I do have to say, Conor Benn and Nigel Benn's reactions to this. They both put videos out. I covered it on this channel, and they both looked a bit shifty to me. They both looked like they already kind of knew, but it might have been the case that they did already know because it came out in September. That might be why they looked shifty. It might not be the case they look shifty because they know what the actual problem is. All I'm saying is, assuming Team Benn are completely innocent, you'd like to think Nigel Benn is going to step up. Because, I'm not sure what to think. Some people say, or a lot of people say, Tony Sims is certified. And that's probably what Nigel Benn was thinking. Nigel Benn was thinking, I trust Tony Sims. I think Tony Sims may have even, or Tony Sims' dad or something like that, may have even trained Nigel Benn. Nigel Benn trusted Eddie Hearn. He trusted Tony Sims. And he left it on that basis. I believe Tony Sims also manages Conor. So we left it in their hands. But the bottom line is, people, Tony Sims, with all of his experience. I've been slagging off Eddie Hearn for years. Eddie Hearn's not a good promoter manager. He's not. Look at AJ's career. AJ's career is ruined. Eddie Hearn's added really little value, apart from being a mouthpiece, apart from waffling. In terms of real strategic value, Eddie Hearn's added none. Do you know what I mean? AJ's got 5 weeks notice and he throws in Mr. Blobby Ruiz, who we know has super quick hands. AJ was preparing for a slow, big buff dude in Jarrell Miller, and now you've got Andy Ruiz thrown in there who has super quick hands. That there is what you call poor strategic promotion. Yeah? Eddie Hearn's very short-sighted. He's not trying to think about down the road. He wants to think now. And again, look at AJ's career. Usyk was ordered to fight Joe Joyce. Team AJ, did they insist that that order was fulfilled? No. Oh yeah, we'll fight Usyk. When arguably, the Joe Joyce fight would have been more winnable. At least we know Joe Joyce has slow feet. Potentially, yeah, AJ could go in there and repeat Ruiz 2. I think there's a chance, yeah, AJ could go in there and outbox Joyce like Ruiz 2. Go in there, light on your feet, jab and move and run all night. And we now know AJ lost twice against Usyk. I think the Joyce fight's more winnable, truth be known, based on the fact that AJ's got no balls. Now, if AJ had balls, the Usyk fight's much easier than the Joyce fight. You walk forward and you bang away. But since AJ has no balls, going in there, outboxing Joyce is easier than outboxing Usyk, in my opinion. But guess what? Team AJ again. No strategic value added. Oh yeah, we'll fight Usyk, we'll just fight. It's messy. The guys are messy. Super messy. So, unfortunately, Nigel Benn trusted his son with Eddie Hearn, who's shown. Eddie Hearn don't do no thinking in that sense. Eddie Hearn, the first thing that comes up, that's what they go with. Do you understand? So he ain't a strategic thinker. Tony Sims, who's the actual manager and the actual trainer. I'm afraid to say, but this really, what's happened here is an indictment on Tony Sims, bottom line. And that's the key person Nigel Benn and Conor Benn have entrusted. Why? I'm not saying I don't think Tony Sims potentially has anything to do with the actual substance. But why is Tony Sims allowing this random ass goober doctor to be all hanging around your fighter? It might even be possible that Tony Sims is the one that brought them together. Not being funny here, but if all of us random individuals who aren't involved in $1 million deals, if we can find out that this doctor's a bit dodgy, the doctor's core competency is involved in TRT. That he specialises in optimising the male hormone system. Yeah, I don't know about you, man, but that sounds to me a bit iffy. In a sport where we know that kind of behaviour, them kind of practices. Listen, for civilians, optimising and maximising your hormone system is great, but we know that, hormone optimisation and sports They don't wash, not even a bit. We already found that out from the other guy. There's another guy in the US called I forgot his name now, but he was renowned for being one of them ones. He works for he owns Snack. Is it Snack? Forgot the guy's name now, but he was a big guy in the US who specialises in optimizing sport performance and whatnot. And guess what? He got all of his fighters popped as well. Yeah? It was a big federal investigation. He was juicing everyone out of their minds. So I'm afraid to say the two don't wash. And to be quite frank, same as the Lance Armstrong's doctor. He was another one on the edge, on the boundaries, trying to maximise things. I don't know what it is about these particular specialist doctors, but they just can't be trusted. They clearly don't know where the line's drawn. And they all think they're too smart. And then guess what? They all get caught. Oops. You know what I'm saying? And then they all try to disappear. Because your man's right now, he disappearing. And the buck for me stops with, to be quite frank, Tony Sims. Because Tony Sims, you're being paid big 10%, big 20% to manage and to train. And you've brought this goober in. You've brought this infidel in. Yeah? You brought this pagan in. So Chris, I hate to say it, but Chris Senior is 100% correct in what he said. And Nigel Benn, listen, Nigel Benn isn't just some dad. Oh, YB, Nigel Benn was an actor and his sons decided to box. What does he know? No, the reason Chris Eubank Senior felt so passionate was because he's almost saying, Nigel, you know the devils that are involved in this game. How can you be in Australia and just sitting back and relaxing? Ben took it personally. Oh, don't tell me how to be a parent. And here we are now. Yeah? The loosey-goosey approach. And I get it. Listen, I think at times Senior is too overbearing on his son. Their relationship has been too overbearing. But much like Sean Porter, people say, and I agree, Kenny Porter's too overbearing. But guess what? Whatever we say about Chris Senior, whatever we say about Kenny Porter, their sons are straight up and down. Yeah? There's never been no funny test with either of them. And to be not just that, but there's never been no skullduggery, full stop. What skullduggery have you heard Sean Porter involved in? Oops, none. What skullduggery have you heard Chris Eubank involved in? Junior? None. Conor Benn, 22 years old. Never mind 10 years into his career. Never mind retired like Sean Porter. A few years in and you're popping. Yeah? Is it a case the stars have just aligned? Some people might say that. All we know is it's a big oops right now. A big super duper oops. So yeah, I mean, it's quite logical that I'd like to think at least Nigel Benn, his what's it called? Is it maternal or paternal? Whatever that word is, his fatherly role should kick in right now. Going forward, he should feel like, you know what, these boneheads, Tony Sims, I'm sorry, he's a bonehead. Yeah? Assuming it's not just random contamination, assuming it's doctors the cause. Hey, but it's bottom line. If you've allowed some goofy, funny style Frankenstein wannabe ass doctor to come in and fuck your shit up and lose millions of dollars and ruin a 22-year-old man's reputation, what kind of manager are you? What kind of trainer does that? An incompetent one. At which point, Nigel Benn should be on these guys' arse, coming in as a buffer. Yeah, clearly, Tony Sims, I entrusted you with all the whatever else, and you've blown it. Now, every single decision, I'm going to oversee. You're going to run by me. Yeah, I'm going to treat you like a child. That's how it has to go. Because these guys can't be trusted. Bottom line. Ultimately, they just don't seem to care like that. They just don't. And that's what Senior was saying. No one's going to love your son like you will. And the crazy thing is, even when there's millions of dollars, these guys still just messy, aren't they? Let's be real now. Messy. Anyway, salute to Senior. I mean, part of me, not was hoping, but part of me thought that Senior would be roasting the Benn family. Now, he kind of threw a bit of shade, saying, listen, you've been too loose with your son. I told you to tighten up, yeah? Senior said, listen, Nigel, I told you to tighten up, and now look what's happened, yeah? I told you what you need to be doing, you didn't listen, and now look, oops, yeah? The ultimate punk. Imagine that, imagine Chris Senior pushes your dinner back in for you, and then he warns you about your messy parenting, and then you ignore his warnings. The man who pushed your dinner in, you ignore his warnings, and then it comes true. Wow, it's a wrap. It's a wrap for Nigel Benn right now. He going through it right now, 100%. Chris Senior sitting in his big chair, in his big king chair, looking like he's seeing 6-dimensional shapes right now. He's seeing 6 moves down the line. Yeah, he a grandmaster in this game. And Nigel Benn looking like a scrub, truth be known. Sloppy Messi. Messi having us. Yeah, but anyway, man, let's see how it plays out. We still don't know exactly, but I got a good feeling. It's that doctor, 100%. There's no smoke without fire. Yeah, the rats don't just start leaving the ship for nothing. The ship's sinking, 100%. Smash the like button. Subscribe. And your boy the YB will be back 100%.